Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. It's the brother Bayan here to bring you a quick lesson. Prior to get started, I want to give infinite honors and prayers unto Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushua, Bahashim Kakwatash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of a great millstone who taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. You Akim, you Akwat, which is you brothers and sisters in Hebrew that believe. All right. And for this lesson here, it's going to be titled on the basis of faith being the foundation. Okay. Faith being a foundation, all right? And just a quick definition on dictionary.com, it says the foundation, the basis or groundwork of anything, okay? So this is where everything begins, you know, your work, everything that you're building on top of, you know, each other, it starts with a foundation, and that foundation has to be faith. All right, here in this truth. All right, if you're a follower of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, if you're a believer of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, you know, faith has to be first and foremost. All right, because you know when you have faith, that means that you pretty much, you know, you have your focus on Yahweh Shem Yahushua. All right, the Lord is your main focus. So if you have that faith and you build everything around that faith, all right, that's a more stable ground, you know, that's a more stable way of walking in this truth. Okay. But that was that on the definition. All right. And I'm gonna kick it off just because I explained it, you know, as the foundation. Yahweh Shai does as well. All right. In the book of St. Matthew, chapter 7 and 24. It says, therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them, I will liken him unto a wise man which built his house upon a rock. All right. And the rain descended and the floods came and the winds blew and beat upon that house. And it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock. All right. So if you're hearing these sayings, if you're believing in these sayings, and you know what Yahweh Shai, you know, through the Spirit, you know, gave to the prophets to write, you know, if you believe unto these things and you follow these things to the best of your ability, you know, it'll be likened unto you setting your foundation on a rock. All right. And that rock is Yahweh Shai. Okay. So if Yahweh Shai is your foundation, you know, it can't be destroyed. It can't be moved. Okay. And continuing on, it says in verse 26, and everyone that heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them not shall be likened unto a foolish man which built his house upon the sand. And the rain descended and the floods came and the winds blew and beat up that house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it. All right. So when a lot of, you know, tragic things, you know, start to happen around you, all right, and your foundation is not set, you're easily going to be knocked off your path. All right, you're easily going to be knocked to and fro, you know, which most likely lead to you, you know, falling out of the truth. All right, and ultimately, it's just not pleasing unto the Lord for you to have anything else as the foundation. Okay, and to back that up, it's Hebrews chapter 11, verse 6. It says, some of it cut off. Let me see. Yeah. This is Hebrews 11 and 6. It says, but without faith, it is impossible to please him. All right. For he that cometh to Yahweh Shem Yahushua must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. All right. It's impossible to please the Lord, you know, without faith. All right. When you show that faith that you have in the Lord, that's what sparks that fire underneath you to work. All right. You're not going to be working if you don't believe, you know, that there's a reward coming. All right. So that's another reason why the emphasis on faith being the foundation is important. All right. Again, it says, but without faith, it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to Yahweh Shem Yahushua must believe that he is, and that he is rewarder of them that diligently seek him. All right. So, let me grab that word diligently, you know, just to see what that means. diligently. Again, on the dictionary.com, it says with consensuous and persistent effort or attention. All right. With, I believe that's how you say that word, consensuous. Consent, yeah. If not, somebody could correct me, or, on the dictionary.com, with consensuous and persistent effort or attention. So the Lord has your attention, all right? He has your attention. He has your persistent effort to work, to continue to grow, to continue to build, okay? And that's how you please the Lord, all right? You have to show the Lord that you want these things, all right? You have to show him that you want this reward, all right? And again, if the truth and all of the works that you're done, you treat it like a side bitch, all right, that means that it doesn't have your full attention, all right. You can't deal with Sophia, all right, which is wisdom in the is how you say wisdom in the Greek, all right. You can't deal with Sophia like a side chick, all right, because she's gonna up and leave you. Okay, so dealing with anything with this truth, with this understanding, dealing with the Lord, it has to be the center of your eye. All right, you have to have your eye single, on the Lord and doing these works. All right, and again, that's how you're going to receive your reward. Okay, but it says, I think that was it on that. I'm gonna grab another account real quick in St. John chapter 20 and 25. All right, this was when Yahweh Shai had resurrected after after being nailed on the cross and so on and so forth. But this is St. John 20 and 25. It says, the other disciples therefore said unto him, we have seen the Lord. But he said unto them, except I shall see in his hands the print of the nails, and put my finger into the print of the nails, and trust my hand into his side, I will not believe. All right. And this was, Thomas, one of the 12 disciples, who was having, a real carnal moment. And, how Jake said, man, they said that the Lord, we all seen, the Lord get killed. All right. We all heard about the Lord getting killed, and y'all talking about that y'all seen him. So Thomas is basically saying, like, man, I got to see it to believe it. Okay. But it says, verse 26, and after 8 days again, his disciples were within, and Thomas with them. Then came Yahweh Shai, the doors being shut, and stood in the midst, and said, peace be unto you. Then said he to Thomas, reach hither thy finger, and behold my hands, and reach hither thy hand, and thrust it in my side, and be not faithless, but believing. All right, so Yahweh Shai heard all that and told Thomas, all right, this is what you want to touch me, you want to feel and make sure it's me, I'm going to let you do so. All right, if that's going to make you believe, I'm going to allow you to do this. And Thomas answered and said unto him, my Lord and my power. Yahweh Shai said unto him, Thomas, because thou hast seen me, thou hast believed. Blessed are they that have not seen and yet have believed. Okay, and that's the testament, for you diligent brothers and sisters that's doing this work, man. All right, in this lifetime that we in, this reincarnation that we're in right now, we haven't seen the Lord. All right, all we have is scriptures. All right, scriptures in faith and believing that all of these things are true. Okay, and again, the Lord blessing us, out of all of the people of the world, to have the spirit to believe, man. And that's heavy. Okay. But again, it says, Yahweh Shai said unto them, Thomas, because thou hast seen me, thou hast believed. Okay. Blessed are they that have not seen and yet have believed. So these people, you brothers, that's doing this work, man, to be constantly pushing on something that a lot of people would say that we look like fools, because these things has been written, so long ago, and everybody said that this was been going to happen, that the Lord was going to return, and this and that and the third, and for men to continue to have their hands on the plow, it speaks volumes. Okay, and again, the Lord is not going to forget those things. All right. He's definitely going to give you that reward, as he said in that Hebrews 11, for your belief. All right. For your belief and your works. Because again, your faith and works coincide with each other. All right. You can't just have one. Okay. But again, you have to have a solid foundation coming into this thing, man. All right. And just to wrap it up full circle, backing up that St. John and, pretty much everything else, what is faith? Okay. Hebrews 11:1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Okay. So that hope, all right, that hope that you're of that elect, all right, the hope that you're going to receive that reward, all right, that it's not physically in front of us, okay, but just these images, these thoughts that just plays in your head of what it's going to be like, when the Lord returns, what's going to be like, when Lord willing that you finish your course, all of these things that the Lord said is going to happen, that motivation in your head to keep on going, man. All right, that's what faith is. Okay, and again, that's why it's so important. All right, that's the drive that you have, behind you, to continue to work. All right, and it's also, again, one of the biggest ways to please the Lord, But something just plain and simple, man. You got to have that foundation, a solid foundation. Okay. So I pray that this lesson was edifying. Praying to get out of here. I want to give infinite honors and prayers unto Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Kagwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who taught me this truth. Peace and salutation to the hopeful elect. You Akim, you Aquat, with you brothers and sisters in the Hebrew that believe. Shalom.